Hi, this is Mark, and in today's video, I'm going to tell you about a real case that's still unsolved, even after all these years. It's about a girl named Mara Murray. She was a student living a normal life. One day she quietly left her college, got into her car, and drove away. A few hours later, her car was found after a small crash on a cold, quiet road. Mara was gone. No one knows where she went. No one knows why. And to this day, she's never been found. So let's go back to the beginning and try to understand what really happened. It was late evening, February 2004. The weather was cold, snow everywhere. A small car had hit a tree on a quiet road in New Hampshire. Nothing major, just a minor crash. A neighbor saw it from their window, figured someone might need help, so they called the police. When the officer arrived, the car was empty. The driver was gone. That car belonged to a girl named Mara. She was 21, a nursing student, smart, quiet, didn't cause trouble. That night, nobody saw her walking away. There weren't even clear signs showing which direction she might have gone. The snow had been falling slowly. Everything just felt strange. Earlier that day, she'd sent an email to her professors, saying there was a family emergency. There wasn't. She took some money out of the ATM, bought a few things from a liquor store, and started driving north. She didn't tell anyone where she was going. No friends, no family, not even her boyfriend. And then she was just gone. Mara had always been a quiet girl, not the type to draw attention. She was focused on her studies, worked part-time security at her university, and kept her circle small. But those who knew her closely said she carried a certain sadness, not loud, just there, in the background, like something she never talked about. Her father, Fred, was involved in her life, supportive especially about her education. A few days before she disappeared, he visited her, helped her look at a used car. They spent some time together, had dinner, talked about usual things. Nothing felt off. But later that night, Mara crashed her father's car. No one was hurt, but it shook her up. She seemed distracted after that. Then came that Monday, February 9th. She packed some of her things into her Saturn sedan, texted her boyfriend. Nothing out of the ordinary. Bought some wine, some snacks, took out almost all the money from her bank account. Not a lot, just under $300. And then she drove off. The route she took wasn't random. It was toward the White Mountains, a place her family used to vacation. But no hotel was booked. No one was waiting for her there. She just drove, alone. At around 7 p.m., her car was found off the road. It had lightly hit a tree. The neighbor who heard the sound came out and saw a young woman standing by the car. She said she was fine, just waiting for AAA. Then he went inside. When police arrived, she wasn't there. The search began that night. State troopers walked the road. Dogs were brought in. Helicopters scanned the area the next day. But nothing was found. Not even her scent, after a certain point. It was like she disappeared into thin air. And yet, people started finding pieces, strange ones. A rag stuffed into the tailpipe. A bottle of wine missing. Her phone and debit card were never used again. But the strangest part? The emails. The earlier ones. Like the one she sent to her boyfriend saying, "I love you," in a way that felt final. Some said maybe she planned to disappear. Others believe she was picked up or worse. But if she planned it, why leave everything behind? And if something happened to her, where's the evidence? Days turned into weeks. The family searched. Fred, her father, drove up and down that road for months, putting up posters, asking questions, losing sleep. Years have passed. Theories have come and gone, but no one has heard Mara's voice since that day. No one's seen her. No confirmed sightings. No answers. And the question that still haunts everyone is this: was Mara trying to escape something, or was something already waiting for her on that road? Some people close to Mara believed she had been under pressure. There had been an incident at school. She was caught using a stolen credit card to order food. Not a big crime, but enough to get her in trouble. Enough to weigh on her mind. Her boyfriend, stationed far away at West Point, had noticed she'd become distant. They spoke on the phone often, but something was different. She seemed distracted. Her voice would trail off mid-sentence. She'd pause before answering simple questions. On the night she disappeared, a voicemail was left on his phone. The message was just breathing, soft, uneasy, no words, just the sound of someone there. Some thought it might have been a glitch, others weren't so sure. Then there was the crash. That old black Saturn wasn't in good shape. Her father had warned her about it, but she took it anyway. Drove miles into rural New Hampshire, toward cold forests and quiet towns where nobody knew her. One of the neighbors who spotted the car said she looked shaken but not injured. He offered to help, but she politely declined. Said she had called for roadside assistance, but records later showed no such call was ever made. Within 7 minutes of that neighbor leaving her side, she was gone. Police searched that road again and again. The trees, the trail behind the crash site, the nearby homes. It wasn't a place you could easily get lost in, but it was a place where you could disappear if someone helped you, or if someone wanted you to. Some people said there was a red pickup truck spotted nearby that night. No one ever found it. No driver ever came forward. Some believe that's who picked Maura up. Some think she knew the person. Others believe she was hurt in the woods and just never found. But that doesn't sit right with her family. They say Maura was smart. She would have found a way to signal for help or left some trace behind. There was nothing. Years later, cadaver dogs picked up a scent in a nearby home, just a short walk from the crash site, the basement. But the house had changed owners by then, and nothing solid came from it. Rumors spiraled. That she was escaping someone, that she was pregnant, that she'd run away to start a new life. But every theory ended the same way, with no proof and no Maura. Her family never stopped, her father especially. He spoke to the media, begged the public for help, retraced every mile of her last known path. He said once in an interview that she didn't just vanish. Someone made her vanish. But there was never any solid evidence. No suspects, no confirmed sightings. Just a date on the calendar that kept getting older and a story that refused to end. Even now, the road where her car was found has become a sort of shrine. People leave flowers, notes. Some believe she's out there, still alive. Others are sure she's not. But they all agree on one thing. The truth about what happened that night never came out. And maybe it never will. But we're not done yet, because there's something else, a detail most people missed. Something buried in the days just before she left. A call, a reaction, a pattern that might change everything. We'll go back, look closer, and try to find out what was really going on in Maura's life before that road took her away.